The September 2012 symposium, Greening Your Campus and Curriculum, brought Bennett College, UNCF, NCA&T, and Region 4 of the EPA together to co-host this event. Never before had two HBCUs come together to host a diverse cross-section of private sector, public sector colleges and universities to discuss a broad range of environmental issues. The conference provided opportunities for students, faculties, administrators, and other environmental and sustainability stakeholders to develop partnerships, network, and collaborate on sustainable environmental practices.
There's synergy amongst the colleges and universities working together so they can leverage off of each other. And so all of that's very exciting, and that is exactly what EPA supports.
And one of the immediate benefits of greening our infrastructure is that more and more students are really paying attention on how green your college commitment is to sustainability. And they're choosing their schools based on that greenability. So one of the immediate benefits of greening our infrastructure is attracting students.
Students and faculty from throughout the Southeast informed conference attendees about new programs and ideas for greening college campuses.
Mississippi Valley started their own recycling center in October. We collect everything, paper, plastic, cardboard, and we receive a return from those items. All the money that we bring in from having those recyclables, it goes towards scholarships.
Just hearing all of the other things that other schools are doing, it makes me just want to go back to Bennett and implement some of those things. I heard at Mississippi Valley College, they have a recycling center. I think that would be awesome to do. So that's exciting to me. I want to go back and give back to my school.
Many campuses have engaged in programming to develop a culture of recycling to maximize resources and realize cost savings.
So the question is, do we want the dumps to get larger and larger and larger, or do we want us to start to take and have a real strategic approach about how we start to deal with those situations? And one of those is through recycling. So as you go back to your administrations and as you go back to your clubs possibly, and you think through how do we want to approach these issues, well, you have a real good reason. Because if you don't address it, what's going on inside of your communities when you go back home is going to continue.
Well, I came in today not knowing anything about recycling, especially when it came to greening our campus and so on. But I actually have a question as far as students from other institutions and so on. So we gained a lot of information today about going back to our campus and sharing information, but how about us coming together as far as all the institutions and working?
One really successful program instituted by the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency is the nationally implemented Recyclemania.
I love working with college students. I love working with Recyclemania because it puts me in that realm of working with college students. I'm 49. I'll be 50 on my next birthday, May 1st. I just frosted over. That's all. But I like the youth. I like the energy, and the reason why I get involved in Recyclemania and the reason why I got involved in it is because it's sustainable. We, as college students, as citizens of this earth, we have to maintain this earth because we want it to be just as pristine as it was when we were growing up.
All that effort that goes into making and producing food, we just don't want that thrown away. So we want that food fed to people. Then if we can't feed people, feed animals, livestock, that kind of thing. And if you can't feed animals with it, find an industrial use for it, and then compost it if we can't do either of those things. And then lastly and leastly, we don't want it going in the landfill.
The conference presented multiple opportunities for student engagement, including scholarship awards for students who created posters that effectively promoted conference objectives. The scholarship awards were sponsored by two private sector organizations, SheerCom and Noresco.
This initiative and getting everybody else involved starts with us, so if we're not passionate about it and we don't work for it, it's not going to happen. So we're actually willing to hear any questions or concerns. If anybody has any input for us to help our campus or to join with your campus to make things better, we actually appreciate it. We have handouts for everybody who would like to see our presentation hands-on, and We'd also like to send a big thank you to the United Negro College Fund, Environmental Protection Agency, Ms. Felicia Davis, Cassidy Cannon, our advisor, Bennett College, and A&T for hosting us.
Being green is like a way of life. So sometimes when older people feel as though they've been living away for so long and doing well, they feel as though they don't need to change. So educating them how these little changes might affect their life, it's kind of hard, but then it's also beneficial because then they really look at it and be like, oh, and then when you see them changing, you're like, I made a change.
Has led colleges and universities to incorporate environmental best practices across multiple disciplines of study.
For those of you all that have environmental, not only environmental, but engineering schools, why not have some incentives for the contractors to actually do some training on the campuses that they're working on with your School of Engineering, so that there's an actual application for the students as they can see the buildings going up, how they did it, coming to the classroom to say, this is what we consider, and these are the standards, taking it from the textbook and actually putting it in application as the building is going up. Taking the students to the buildings so that they can see from the ground up the actual application of what it is that they're learning in the textbooks.
When we talk about environment sustainability, we're talking about human behavior, we're talking about public policy, we're talking about legislation, we're talking about economics. So that's how it cuts across many fields. We need journalism to help educate the public, and we have to train our students in all areas to be environmentally and sustainably literate, which is interdisciplinary.
What surprised me was the zeal to learn. Students, they want to know much. And so currently I'm teaching a solid and hazardous waste course, and they are waiting to hear from me in class what exactly transpired here.
The United Negro College Fund has provided leadership for its member institutions and a model for higher education and private sector partnerships.
I came to this work from organizing within the environmental justice, climate justice sector. So I worked a lot on climate change for about a decade and really felt that Black colleges had an opportunity to make a quantum leap. Out of the 52 institutions that we surveyed, all of them had green initiatives underway, and all of them used the information that we provided to take those a step further. So we are having an impact, and we also connect minority-serving institutions with mainstream institutions like Oberlin or MIT or North Carolina, Chapel Hill, Auburn, and there's this cross-fertilization, Georgia Tech, et cetera, which is a nice sharing and blending of best practices.
We've also have a National Science Foundation Center of Excellence in Nanobiomaterials, and specifically nanobiomaterials as derived from biorenewable and recycled products. So this is a form of conservation that I think is fairly unique within our genre of universities.
Students have affected positive change in their communities through environmental service projects.
Our goal is to bridge the gap, create the energy efficiency, bring profit to the families, improve the quality of life, and make sure we stay ahead of the markets. So this is a holistic, sustainable, environmental, agricultural piece that will brings hope to our communities where there really was none, and there's very little business going on in those counties, really.
One of the things we've done at A&T, we have a Center for Energy Research and Technology, and one of the focuses of the center is doing energy assessments. So we have gone out to local schools and done assessments of their buildings. We had an example where a local county built 2 buildings at the same time, commissioned them, and one was having utility bills that were $50,000 a year higher than the other, same size building, built at the same time. We were able to do an assessment and identify for them why one building was operating more efficiently than the other and how to correct that situation. So we're using those energy assessments for the school systems as internship opportunities for our students. And we've already had a number of students get hired by the school systems to continue to do that sort of thing after they graduate.
Toyota has proven to be an excellent partner, providing HBCU students the opportunity to serve as Toyota Green ambassadors.
The students had a couple questions of me as we had some dialogue this morning. And one of the things they were asking me was about, they're about to embark on their careers. And the thing that I encouraged everyone to do is to try to find your passion. And for me, when you stay somewhere 33 years and you work in an industry that long, you might want to be passionate about that. I always like to tell everybody, for me, automobiles and cars, that was my passion. I'm the little boy that played with cars, and I get to come to work and play with cars every day.
Toyota has sponsored me, and I have been able to travel to, this is my first event as of right now. They has brought me to North Carolina, but hopefully in the future it will take me to many more great places. Everyone I have met, they have been so helpful and friendly and giving out very useful information.
Has been instrumental in ensuring that the Obama administration's environmental goals are met and that campuses have a role in this mission.
You invest in our young leaders through curriculum enhancements in math, science, engineering, environmental science, technology, as well as health, economics, you name it, social work. That's a win, no doubt about it. You invest in our colleges and universities as they try to build sustainable practices that can be the model for other communities around the country. That's a win, no doubt about it. And then you invest in the business community, helping them improve their bottom line and thereby create openings and space for those young graduates to step into. That's a win as well.
Many of the answers that we are looking for to our environmental challenges are on campuses just like this one. You've got the energy of the students. They're obviously very engaged and knowledgeable about the environment. And so the only limit is the limit of their own personal capacity and their willingness to work with others. So our solutions are right here. And that's one of the reasons why this president and so many others are continuing to invest in education so those ideas actually get to see the light of day and we all benefit from them.
The 2012 conference inspired a larger effort that continues across the Southeast region's college and universities. Young people have embraced the green movement, and their efforts will ensure a future of innovative and sustainable environmental practices.
We all breathe the same air, we all drink the same water, and we all must deal with managing and controlling a system of solid waste removal. And because we all face that responsibility, it has become more and more important that we all play a role in seeing to it that there is a change in which we can manage and afford and will provide for a future. I think that is really what brings us here today. It's not just about energy, but it is about how we live our lives in the present and create an opportunity for there to be life in the future.
You have educators teaching the new sciences of alternative energy generation, engineering and the like. I'm sure the conference participants enjoyed very much the list of careers that are proposed to be in the upper, 28th percentile as we move forward in the new diaspora.
I feel a lot better about who's coming behind us. I mean, we have some challenges. We have a lot of waste that happens. We have folks who just don't care. But looking at the enthusiasm right now, if we can keep this sustained, then I think that we have something good going on. And I'm glad to be a part of it.
Well, one thing I think is so great about working with students from other schools is honestly they're students just like us, just in another setting, another environment. At the same time, they have the same common goal that we have, and that's graduating from college and going on later to working careers, possibly in the environmental field and helping them better our environment.
We are very, very excited to be here
and even more excited to take what we've gained here to our campus. And when we're going to start there, we're going to take it to the community also.